Order accepted.
There are a lot of ways to get into StarCraft. Figuring out where to start and when to take it to the next level can be an overwhelming task. It can be even more difficult deciding how to introduce a friend or partner to StarCraft. The answer to the question, how do I get into StarCraft, is more complex than it's often given credit for. Keep in mind that this video is just a starting point. In the About section below, there's an organized list of resources to help you learn more. To begin, it's important to understand that your rate of improvement is equal to the time you spend playing the game multiplied by the amount of focus you exert during play and the quality of your practice. So when someone tells you, just play the game, they are 1/3 right. A common reason why players don't improve at a reasonable rate is that they aren't putting enough time into the equation to make the other factors noticeable. But StarCraft is an incredibly deep game. Just playing the game is not going to unlock your full potential. Focus is the second piece of the puzzle. Just by thinking critically during and after the game, you greatly increase your rate of improvement and enjoyment of the game. It's important to note that focus is a limited resource. Like physical exercise, it'll take time to build up your endurance, so don't be discouraged if you're getting tired quickly in the beginning. Taking even 1-minute breaks in between games to stand up and stretch can make a huge difference in your level of focus. Finally, we have quality of practice. This is the most common pitfall for new players and for veterans introducing friends to StarCraft. When someone considers, what should I do to improve at StarCraft, common response is the highest quality practice. Generally speaking, the more repetition, the less variance, and the more difficult the opponent, the higher the quality of practice will be. For a veteran, going for the highest quality of practice makes sense. Find the most skilled practice partner and play the same map, matchup, and strategies to completely master one particular game variant and its minor branches. Prescribe this training regimen to almost any new player and they will become bored, frustrated, and quickly burn out from the high level of focus that it takes up. This results in a low amount of time and a low amount of focus being put into the game, which is just as bad as grinding games with a low amount of quality and low amount of focus. There are certain players that thrive in this kind of repetitive environment from the beginning, but most players will not. If you only take one thing away from this video, let it be this. The key to getting into StarCraft is finding what's fun for you. The more fun you're having, the easier it is to focus, the more time you're going to invest into the game. Also, the more fun you'll be having. This guide is called The Path. It outlines the different levels of interaction that people have with StarCraft, starting with the least amount of time, focus, and quality of practice required to the most. Knowing where you are in the path can help you to know what the next step is. For new players, trying out the levels with the least amount of time, focus, and quality of practice is the easiest. So experiment around and find what's fun for you. As soon as you're ready for more of a challenge, take it to the next level, where a deeper and more rewarding experience with StarCraft is waiting for you. Level 1. Watch professional games. This is one of the easiest ways to start getting into StarCraft because it requires very little time or focus. The absolute most important part of this initial step is the casters. Casters make or break a StarCraft viewing experience for a new player. Start by watching casters that have a lot of energy, humor, and wisdom. It's important to differentiate here between wisdom and knowledge. A knowledgeable caster will talk about what is happening, what builds are being used, how much time it takes to complete an upgrade, how many of X it takes to kill Y, etc. A wise caster will talk about why it's happening and what it means. This helps tell the story of the game, making it more enjoyable for everyone, especially those new to StarCraft. As a bonus, if you can find casters that bring in the stories of the individual players' lives and what this particular game or moment may mean to them, that can really drive home the human element of the game, which is something we can all relate to, being humans. If you're really committed to getting someone into StarCraft, take the time to select individual games where the casting and playing performances are the absolute best. WCS is a great place to start. Level 2. Arcade. The arcade is free to play. You may think the only games in here that will help you improve at Melee StarCraft are things like micro-trainers and multitask trainers. That's absolutely not the case. To a new player, everything starts off feeling foreign, uncomfortable, and complex. Even games that have nothing in common with StarCraft except the UI can help ease you into the game and build confidence. This is a great option for players that are intimidated by StarCraft. There's a huge variety of games in the arcade, so there's something fun for everyone. Start from that fun place and work toward games that are more similar to StarCraft. Starbow gets an honorable mention here for being one of the best games in the latter category. It's also worth mentioning that new players are more likely to try this method because there is no monetary investment. If your friends don't have a computer that can run StarCraft, let them take a turn on yours. Money is a barrier to entry for many players. Be careful not to ignore or trivialize it. Level 3. Campaign. The campaign is a great place to start delving into the RTS aspects of the game, especially if you like stories. It can help improve familiarity with hotkeys, macro, micro, and multitasking if approached correctly. However, without the proper guidance, the campaign can also be a place where new players develop bad habits. Fortunately, we've made a video series to help solve that problem and set new players up for a smooth transition from single player to multiplayer. Level 4. Team Games. Team games are free to play and excellent for learning the basics of the game and having fun doing it. Remember, the most important part is the fun. Do crazy strategies, mono battles, troll games, etc. You think nukes are cool? Do that. Want to switch races or play random? Please do that. Remember that doing these types of things will increase your rate of improvement in the long run, because the more fun you're having, the more likely you'll be to put more time and focus into the game, which is 2/3 of our improvement formula. If you're a socially motivated player, team games are a great place to start getting into StarCraft 2. Level 5. Guided 1 vs 1. Learning how to play one-on-one StarCraft can be intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. We have 2 different guides that help you learn each element of the game one step at a time. The first is called the Staircase. This guide focuses on macro. It limits your options by restricting unit choice, but leaves the strategy up to you. Each new step will expand the units allowed, increasing the complexity and variance in each game at a rate that is challenging but not discouraging. This approach is best for players who tend to be more creatively driven, enjoy experimentation, and don't mind losing games while feeling out the basics. The second is called the Cheese Case. This guide focuses on micro and multitasking. It limits your options by giving you specific build orders to follow, allowing you to focus completely on the execution of the strategy. It starts with the easiest, shortest games, slowly progressing into longer games with each step. This approach is best for players who are strongly motivated by winning and enjoy the thrill of micro and multitasking. The Staircase is finite. Once you complete it, you should move on to the Cheese Case or level 6, whichever seems more interesting and fun to you. The Cheese Case, however, is infinite. In essence, it is all of StarCraft 2 strategy organized by average game length. So, as new strategies are discovered, they will be added to the Cheese Case in the proper place. Feel free to branch off from this path and skip ahead to later steps. Find new builds or start creating your own when it interests you. We will never be able to provide a guide on every variation of StarCraft 2. If we could, it wouldn't be StarCraft. Level 6. One build to rule them all. The following is one of the most distributed pieces of advice when players ask how to improve. Learn one build for each matchup and perfect it. Remember that this is a very trying starting point for a new player. Only the most motivated, repetition-driven players should start here. It can be very monotonous for the player that isn't at the point where they appreciate the subtle differences in each game. Here we see a big increase in quality of practice by decreasing variation and increasing repetition. Remember that the quality of practice is worthless without time and focus. So if you find yourself not having fun and not feeling motivated, break it up with something from one of the earlier levels until you get your focus back. Level 7. Drills and deliberate practice. This is where StarCraft gets serious. Once you have reached this step, you should have a good idea of your weak spots. Develop or copy drills to fix holes in your play. Start participating in tournaments if you haven't already. This gives a boost in motivation and helps you find more skilled practice partners. Study and understand deliberate practice. Our goal in this level is to push our quality of practice to the maximum. Decrease variance wherever possible. Choose a race and stick to it. Play one matchup on one map per day at most. Start planning out your best of 3s when you can. Study your opponent before a tournament match. Plan out your training regimen and take short, calculated breaks whenever you drop below 100% of your maximum focus. The Pomodoro technique of 25 minutes of practice followed by a 5-minute break is very effective, so give it a try. Pay close attention to your mentality and read up on everything you can about it. Check out this playlist as a starting point. Level 8. You have reached StarCraft Enlightenment. From here you can truly appreciate the depth and complexity of this amazing game in a way that few others can. You accomplished this. This is real self-esteem, not trophies for participation. Because StarCraft doesn't care how much money your parents have. Doesn't care where you come from. Doesn't care about your gender, your skin color, or how you compare to your culture's definition of the word beautiful. It's global. It's a part of you. By now, you have probably begun to realize all the things that StarCraft has helped you with. Your approach to learning a new skill, like a language, a musical instrument, or a trade. Confidence, walking into a date or a job interview. You can start to see the build orders of your everyday life and how you can improve them. Picking your classes, cooking dinner, or working out. You can get healthy. You can quit smoking. You can finally find meaning and life to a phrase that used to be dead. You can do anything. All that is required is time and focus. This is the ultimate lesson that StarCraft will teach you if you let it. This is the lesson that can change your life like it changed mine. This isn't a quick fix or a magic pill. This isn't just a game. This is StarCraft.